Getting a little chilly in the mornings. Waking up, it's 40s. Usually it's 60s in the midday, sometimes it's 70. It's a beautiful time in New England where it's a little chilly overnight and a little sweatshirt in the morning and gorgeous, gorgeous.
So what's
In
going on
fact, the
with
band is playing Nate Ramos' band. We're playing an outdoor gig this afternoon, private party. And it was supposed to be raining today all week long. The weather was like, you got a 40% chance of rain today. And today we got no rain in the forecast. It's going to be overcast, but no rain.
So I was there this morning because I wanted to be there in time to watch you guys play,
Yeah.
and they said I'm not on the list, so that's bullshit. So I came back home.
Yeah, I didn't have you on the list because I didn't know that you were going to drive the 18 hours to get to the gig.
18, that's all it is.
22, I don't know. It's a lot of tapes.
So what's going on with baseball now? Is it all over or what?
Baseball's not over. Outstanding question. We're into the four teams down to it. So the National League has the Phillies, which I would not be shocked if they win the whole thing, are taking on the Phillies are taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks for the National League. The winner of that goes to the World Series. And the American League is an all Texas conference. It's the Houston Astros versus the Texas Rangers.
Huh.
And it starts tomorrow. But what's very interesting for me on the whole thing is there were three teams this year that won 100 games, which is not easy to do. The Atlanta Braves won 104. They were the best team in the league. They got knocked out by the Phillies. Best of five series. So they got knocked out in 4 games. The LA Dodgers, who were the second best team in the league, were swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think literally nobody saw that coming. And the American League in our AL East with our Red Sox, and that's that competitive, Yankees, Red Sox, Tampa, which is phenomenal all year. They were like the leader all year. Baltimore Orioles, that have been in the basement for decades and everybody's favorite team to love because they were so bad, won the division, won 100 games, and they got knocked out. So all three 100-game winners during the regular season are not in the divisional series and out of it. So no matter who wins this, it's going to be a surprise because nobody won their division. And it's fun. I love it. We were playing a gig, Nate Ramos band, Thursday night in Boston at a very popular club that I've never been to. It's a very country-themed club right next to Fenway Park called Loretta's Last Call.
Yeah.
And we were playing from 9 to midnight on Thursday night, which I call a school night. Like I got a sales meeting at 8 a.m., on Friday. And we're getting set up, really cool place. And so we got there early. We're setting up everything on stage, and there was 3 TVs to my right along the bar that ran the whole side of the building. And the one closest to me that was behind a pillar, I kind of said to the bartender, "Any chance of getting a baseball game on there?" And he goes, "Well, which one?" I go, "There's only one. This is when the Phillies knocked out the Braves." So I was able to kind of keep track of the score during the game, during the gig on Thursday night. That was fun. It's funny when you're a 3-hour gig. We had like 43 songs. There were very few people in this club, so really it was a well-paid rehearsal, if you will. But towards the end, we took a break at about 10:30, 10:40, and came back on, and we had probably 8 or 10 people out there dancing. 11 o'clock, people kind of showed up. So but you don't feel that time like when you're playing and just making music. The time is flying.
I know.
And
Yeah.
AJ was talking. He's like, "We got 3 more songs for you." We were very good hopping around in the set list based on what was going on energy wise. He's like, "We got 3 more songs for you." And I looked at my clock, at my phone. It was 11:57. So 3 minutes to midnight. And I'm like, "We got 3 more songs. What we played till 12:20." And and then we're packing up and we're kind of talking as a group and having some fun and getting ready to get out of there. And I remember thinking, like, that doesn't feel like that was 3.5 hours of music. It was just quick. It was amazing.
Wow.
So I laid my head on the pillow that night at 2:30 in the morning, and I've been fighting a little cold symptoms. As you can probably hear it in my voice, I'm better today, but coughing and sneezing and no energy. So I was concerned about getting up at 6 and getting to my meeting. And so my sales manager is a wonderful guy named Chris. I just texted him, said, I might not be there. And he's like, listen, there's something going around. Do what you got to do. Take care of yourself. So I was able to not attend my early morning Friday meeting, which really allowed me to have a very productive Friday that didn't start until 10. So, but it was funny. For me to break down my drums downstairs, I have a company car, which is full of stuff for them.
Yeah.
And so I empty all that out. I put all my drums in there, drive into Boston Thursday night, drive back Thursday night. And with the gig we have this afternoon, I don't take my drums out of the car. So now I'm ready to go. It's pretty cool. So we'll have some fun this afternoon. We've been making some new tunes. We're kind of a country band, but we were doing Slide by the Goo Goo Dolls and 3 a.m. by 3 a.m. by.
So by the way, I sent you a couple of videos, but
Nate Ramos.
Nate Ramos. The thing with the two of them play guitar and you're playing the drum. You didn't have a whole kit. You just had the.
Oh, is that up against a white concrete wall?
No, I don't think it was a wall.
I think that was in my. I had a little tiny snare drum and a hi hat. That was it.
Yeah, yeah. But what you did was awesome. I was looking at that and listening to it because if you're really hitting the drums like you should, if just two acoustic guitars that weren't amplified, the drums would have been too much. But you just did a little thing on it. It was awesome, man.
I didn't know you ever saw that. I'll tell you, we were at my house during a rehearsal, and Nate's very big. He's very good and he's a young kid. So the social media is a big, big part of this. And so he's always like, we got to get a video. So we walked up out of the bulkhead from my rehearsal space at my house to do I didn't know what we were going to do. None of it was rehearsed. We knew the songs. I'd never done a hi-hat snare, nothing. We had no rehearsal, no idea what we were going to do. And we recorded those 3 tunes. And it was really funny because I go back and listen to it and I go, I kind of like what I was doing rhythm wise to what was happening. And I needed to complement the song without overplaying. And I've had quite a few people, mostly musicians, ironically, so I include you in that class, who commented on that from a musician's perspective, saying, wow, that was kind of cool. I haven't seen those forever, but I forgot that they were even out there, that you saw those. That was fun. Yeah. There was one I was playing with where I had the snare drum laid down and I stepped on it and I brought the snare drum up. So it looks like it was a magic thing and then started to play. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. That's awesome. Really, wow, good.
There was a band, Hailstorm, Lizzie Hale, Hailstorm. I went and saw them. I haven't heard them, but they're a good rock band. And I think it's her brother who plays drums, and he's very theatrical on his drumming. And he had a crash cymbal to his far right. And of course, these cymbal stands are tripods. There's 3 legs. And so he had one of the legs facing him. The other 2 are behind it. And so he was able to drop the cymbal down with his foot on the peg and control it. So with his foot, he brought the whole cymbal and the stand up like this by stepping on it with his foot. And I remember thinking, that's cool. And that's where I got that idea from. You'll have to go back and look at those, but that's where I got that idea with the snare drum. And it's funny because AJ was about to sit down and I was messing with it. And as he goes to sit and I bring it up and I hit the snare to count the first beat in, he plays the first chord and we were laughing afterwards. Like none of that was rehearsed. It just worked. It's funny. Funny how that happens.
Wow.
So I'm having a good time with these guys, which is interesting.
Last night, and I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but last night when I was going to bed, I didn't have my glasses on. By mistake, I took 2 sleeping pills and 2 laxatives.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It was a shitty night, but I slept right through it. I guess you didn't like that
if
one.
You made me laugh, that's where the cough comes out. That's funny. So what's happening in Florida today? What do you got going on? I have to turn my thing because that's right. I'm getting blinded by the light over here. Hang on, let me do this.
My son Eric is coming back over to live with us for a while in Florida.
Say that again.
My son Eric is moving back to Florida to live here for a while.
Is that right?
Yeah, so he's going to join us. I'm excited about that. It's awesome.
That is exciting. Where's he live now? He's out
L.A.
in L.A. So he's coming back home for a little bit,
You
regroup,
know,
and get a new
not the LA that,
direction.
not the LA that you think. It's not LA like lower Alabama. It's actually Los Angeles.
I'm going to Lower Alabama here in a month. I got a golf trip playing with my son. We'll get to that. But he's coming home, and is he kind of just finding a new direction for what he's got going on, or what's his plan?
Well, he's doing. He still does a lot of the photography. He can do that anywhere, really.
Yeah,
And then he also, what do you call it? He produces a successful podcast.
much like us.
No, I'm not talking about a successful one.
Hey,
Hey, take it easy, will you? So he does that, but he does he produces it, so he can do that from anywhere because they send him the the video, and then he takes it and takes stuff. But that's something that we need to learn how to learn. He does something where wherever is whoever's on the guests that are on wherever, he puts it on media things where there's just little snippets of different places in the media, whatever, and then people see that and they click on it and they get to the podcast.
hmm,
It's kind of cool. Cool.
nice. I know he's very well connected photography wise with all of his clients. He's incredibly connected with some very successful people.
Oh yeah. So
So,
I know you and I talked about this before. Some people from Hudson there that know me, when I go up there, will say, "Hey, when you come back home?" I just remember we went through this a few times. So I did something on the Buccaneers one, and I put their logo on there saying, "Way to go, Bucks!" So one of my friends sent me a thing, says, "Hey, Bucks, aren't you from Massachusetts?" I said, "Yes, I am, but I've been in Florida longer than I lived in Massachusetts.
yeah.
By the way, aren't you from the Azores?" He didn't know what to say.
And they don't have a football team,
No, but it's
or at
funny
least
how
they're not an American football team.
yeah, the Patriots. You guys don't have a football team anymore now, right now. Wow.
It's funny. I don't know. I think I was with a lot of people when Brady left. I didn't quite know what to do. Like I'm not a Pets fan, but I certainly didn't follow it. And I was actually out last Sunday. I met with my buddy Sean down in Connecticut, and we went out to a little divey sports bar and had a couple of beers and some wings and some cheesy fries. And this was a sports bar. We walked in. I think he'd been there once before. He was like, or maybe he's like, we got to check this place out. I walked there for my first time. There was a this was a football watching crowd. It was every seat at the bar was taken. There were tables that were perpendicular to the wall that had easy, watching the screens, and everybody was there for the game. Jerseys are on, but it was interesting because there was a different. I mean, the demographic was like old, young, male, female, all sorts of different. It wasn't like one. It was interesting. But boy, the Pats are horrible. So, and I didn't really know how bad. And so we sat there and watched the first half, and it was, I don't know, 21-0 at the half. And
Yeah, I know. Huh?
the wings were good. Cheesy fries were outstanding. The beer was fun. The company was outstanding. But I dropped him off, and I came home, and later on, I saw the final score was like, I don't know, 34-0 Pats, and on the losing side. And they're miserable.
Yeah,
The buzz up here, the hope is that they finished in last place, like 1-15, and get the first pick, because they really got some rebuilding to do.
by the way, I want to suggest a really good idea, I think, for you to do a podcast. Podcast is about a father and daughter that read the same book remotely,
Yeah,
and then they get together afterwards to discuss the book.
I'm intrigued. Is there another piece to this at all?
No, man, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is cool. What if that book was then made into a movie, and then after the book, they watched the movie?
Wow.
Great idea. So I was talking to Jenna yesterday because my concern, we're reading The Shining right now, which everybody knows. I'd never read it before. she's never seen the movie, which is she prompted this because she's like, I want to read the book and then see the movie. I'm like, you've never seen The Shining, so we're reading the book now, and I'm enjoying it, so I'm going through it pretty well. But my also fear slash accountability was like, what if she like gets way past me on this book? So I got to keep up. So as of yesterday, I was ahead of her, which gives me a little bit of breathing room. But this is a almost 700-page book, and I got 100 pages to go.
Wow.
So and she's right behind me, so we're getting close. Probably next weekend, by the next taping of the No Hissy Fit Zone podcast, I would say we will be finished with this first incarnation of our virtual book slash movie watching club, which has a total of 2 people in it. But kind of cool. So having seen the movie, everyone's seen The Shining apparently, except for my daughter. Um, it's been so long, but there've been very few scenes as I'm reading the book that I can then translate into having seen in the movie. So it's going to be interesting to watch the movie after having read the book, and I haven't seen the movie in decades. I'm really looking forward to it. The more I read the book, the more I'm really looking forward to watching the movie.
You know what's interesting? I
Yeah,
don't remember if I watched that movie or not.
well, that's you and Jenna. You know
So
what's funny about this? Most people think they've seen it because it was just out there. And then there's a lot of outtakes. Like there's that one scene that's everyone's seen for some reason where he breaks through the door with a hatchet or an axe, and he sticks his face and he says, "Here's Johnny." Like everyone knows that scene. It's almost like Psycho. I was doing movie night here at the house a couple of years ago. We're gonna get back to it next year, and because now we got a porch for people to sit on. And
wait a minute.
the first time I did a movie night, I did Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock, 1960. I thought let's start with something classic, and there were 11 people here in the side yard, and I project the movie up on the wall next door, and I got the PA speakers from the band, and so it was perfect. After the movie, and this is talking about The Shining, after Psycho, 9 of the people out of 11 said, now that we've seen the whole movie, I realize I've never seen this movie before, but everybody knows the shower scene. So they think they've seen it, just like Shining. So there was another scene from The Shining. That's the popular one. The second one was there's a scene where, what's her name? Who played the wife? Shelley Duvall? I think so. And she's walking backwards up the stairs in the huge lobby of this gorgeous hotel with the carpeting, and he's crazy and coming after her, and she's like kind of swinging a crowbar at him or something, and she's scared. There's that scene too. Um, but I'm really anxious to watch it again after having read the book. And it's a cool thing what we're doing. Yeah. So you read a book and watch a movie. I think we got the next one picked out already. I'll keep you posted. And I can almost see this becoming like people say, I want to do that with you. Like we end up with some sort of like book club around this and then watch the movie. We're doing all of this separately, when she and I are talking on the phone, but even when we watch the movie, we're going to watch it together separately because she's an hour and a half from me. I think we're going to watch it separately. Maybe we'll get together. I don't know, but it's kind of a cool idea.
So I told you the story before. When we used to play at the Silver King Brewery,
Yeah.
there was a guy there, a friend of mine, Matt, that worked there. And one day during my break, I was changing the batteries on the camera and stuff. He goes, "Hey Tony, any chance I can sing a song with you guys?" He says, "Can I sing a song with you guys?" I says, "I don't know, can you?" Because I didn't know. I never knew if he was singing it. He says, "Yeah." I says, "What do you want to sing?" He says, "Simple Man." So I told the guys, "Hey, Matt's gonna go over and sing a song." They said, "What does he sing?" I says, "He says he does. Let's bring him in."
He says he does.
So he comes on and we did the song, and he did a good job. I mean, really good job. I didn't know he could sing like that. So then afterwards, I was talking to him. I says after the show, I says, "Man, you ought to hook up with a band or something." He goes, "I know. That's one of my dreams." I says, "You should do it." He goes, "Yeah, but I don't even know how to start." So I have a friend who's really real good guitar player and bass player that is in the band. He plays with sometimes he sits in with other bands. He didn't have his own band. I said, "Hey, I have a guy that's a pretty good singer, and he wants to get a band going." So they got together, and they have a band now.
Wow.
They sound really good. And Matt takes his kids and a couple of friends, and they go to watch horror movies, right? They go to a movie and they watch the movie, and then they get together and talk about it, and they do a podcast over that. That's why I saw it when I saw that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Do you know do you know the name of that podcast?
Um, I can't think of it right now, but I can
I'll
find
have
out.
to look for that. I would find that interesting. First of all, I love that you're being who you are and you're connecting people to add value. Like that's just who you are. But that's a great way to go through life. Like, lose yourself in service to others. And so he's eternally grateful for this band because you kind of put this together.
So here's the killer right now. This is a killer for me. He called me. Says, "Hey Tony, so what? Your buddy came over and we got some guys. We actually have a band put together." He says, "Do you want to be one? We need one more guitar player. You need to be. You want to be with us?" I says, "Well, I'm in a band, so I can't really do that." So a week later, what happened to my band? I got kicked out, and I called him. Says, "Hey, I'm available." Says, "Oh, we just hired a guy to be the band." I says, "Oh shit." I missed
All
it by
timing.
I missed it by one day.
Everything happens for a reason. He'll be gone.
Be gone.
But it's funny. So you talked about Simple Man. So Simple Man was a song by Leonard Skinner. It's got to be 45 years old. I mean, great song. And then, I don't know, 15 years ago, Shinedown did a they covered it. And man, that is emotional. That guy's voice, I mean, it's incredible. It blows the original song away, in my mind, my estimation, but it also made it real popular again. And so this is the guy he was singing that one. Um, oh, that's awesome. In fact, we just did this with the Nate Ramos band. Remember 1980s Tracy Chapman and did that song Fast Car?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Fast Car was done over a couple of years ago by a very big country star named Luke Combs. And a lot of the country world doesn't know that that's a 40-year-old song by Tracy Chapman in the 80s. So we start to do it because we're a country band. And this is not a country song. And I'm going to tell you, out of the 40 whatever songs we did the other night, I think our version of Fast Car was my favorite. A lot of people have covered it, and Nate was telling me this too, but I don't know, the way we're doing it, we're like really true to the original, but Nate brings this rasp to it. And I really like our version, but it's funny how you talked about Simple Man, and we're doing the same thing with Fast Car.
So we did a
Um,
song with Luke Combs. We talked about getting bought a lottery ticket or something. And he won something. He got
oh, when it rains, it
the
pours.
Range of Boys. Yeah, we played that. That's pretty good. That's a good song.
We're doing that one. I love that song. Oh, the lyrics. I mean, I almost, music is can be so emotional. Like in
Yeah.
my life, at times when I've done any kind of crying, it's often because of music, right? And so I find myself getting not emotional and not quite tearing up. But when I hear that song, I love the song so much in terms of the story and how he came up with that whole thing. I just think it's a riot
I
and it's
know.
funny, but it's so well done and it just hits me. And for anybody who's listening or watching and doesn't know the song, this guy gets broken up with by his girlfriend and his life takes a turn for really good. and But the lyrics are just so clever, and when it rains it pours, and the lottery ticket, oh my god. So if you're watching this or listening and don't know it, Luke Combs, when it rains it pours, it is
It's a great
such a
song. It
fun
really
song.
is.
We do that one too.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
That is so fun. You talked about your buddies, Matt, who's the singer.
Yeah.
I was thinking this week, he's like, I want to do that. I just don't know how to start. And I was just having a call this week with somebody about starting anything. And I know from my own life and the coaching I've done with somebody and learning about ourselves and learning about me, starting from scratch with just a blank canvas is really one of the more challenging things in my life, just to start something without any direction. If I got anything happening, I can start to piece that and make it work, but starting from scratch it's hard. And I remember years ago hearing a speaker talk about different personality types. And he said, and then you get the person who wants to drive from New York to Los Angeles, but they need every light to be green before they start. And I thought, wow, I'd never heard that before. And I didn't know it was me until I heard it. And I was like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
And so now I'm aware of this and realizing, okay, if I'm trying to start something new, I'm actually got something this week I'm starting new. I already realized there's a lot of resistance and I just got to push through and start. There's all this social media stuff going on. And I just signed up for a class and some mentoring with something called attraction marketing, which is kind of using online stuff to build your own brand. And I have no idea what to do. And I listened to a podcast this week that was about that also. And they just said, just start and expect to be horrible and it'll evolve and you get better as you go. And that's true of everything, you know. And so when your buddy Matt was like, I don't know how to start, and you were able to come through for him, which is beautiful. But I guess my advice is just be horrible, expect it, and keep going.
So there's a place about a quarter mile away from me that has voice lessons. So I was there because I was going to a different store next door to us. I walked in and says, "Hey, what's the deal? Can you guys get me to sing?" She goes, "Well, I don't know. Do you sing?" I says, "I do sing, but every time I sing, people always say, 'Can you sing Far, Far Away?' You know that song, Far, Far
What's it
Away,
called?
Far, Far Away.'
I do know that.
They want me to sing Far Away so they couldn't hear me."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
uh-huh. So I did sing a little bit when I did that comedy show up in Hudson. I was
You
playing.
did? I was there. What'd you sing?
I remember the bathroom song,
Oh, that's
"Knock, Knock, Knock on the Bathroom Door." Remember that? I actually did a good job singing that. That was pretty good.
when you make me laugh, I cough. That's funny. I forgot that. Knock, knock, knocking on the bathroom door, which was a nice segue into your I don't know, what do you call that time? Your toilet paper jokes or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, that was shitty jokes on a roll. That
Have
was.
you heard Jim? Have you? You must have because you're a fan of good comedy. Have you heard Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah.
So I got this podcast on my phone, which is just clips of, you could do it at YouTube too, just clips, people comedy. So I'm driving out to a work appointment on Wednesday morning this week, and I have about an hour on the highway. I said, let me get to the highway. I'm going to play this. And I had a Jim Gaffigan when it came up. It was like 40 minutes. I was laughing so hard in the car by myself that I was crying and my eyes were closed. I'm like, this is dangerous. I got to turn this off because now I'm driving dangerously because this guy is so funny. And
Wow.
that's only happened a couple of times in my life. And once it was one of my favorite people, Jim Muncie, my brother-in-law and dear best friend, told me a joke as I was driving and I lost it. And it was because it was just apparently one of the funniest things I'd ever heard. And he literally had to, I was in a passenger van and he's in the bench seat behind the driver. He had to lean forward and steer the car. I was laughing so hard I couldn't even open my eyes.
Really?
And it's only happened a couple of times. And so with Jim Gaffigan this week, I had to shut it off because I was driving. I'm like, this is dangerous. I was laughing so hard. So I like him. He's funny.
So there's also a thing that's funny that they're doing now, where they're doing "Don't Laugh."
Yes.
Where,
What do they call that? When the two people are telling jokes back and forth and trying to get the other person to laugh.
yeah, and if the other person laughs, he loses a point or gets a point
Right.
against him or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a group in Australia that does it. It's just amazing. Wow.
I saw who did I see doing that? Was it Will Farrell and Mark Wahlberg
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
or Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Trying not to laugh.
Wow.
Trying not to laugh. We covered some content today on this podcast. This has been great.
Oh, we're getting to be professional almost.
It's a good thing that we rehearse as much as we do and come in with an agenda every day. Otherwise, it would be a crap show.
Wow.
What's going on for your day today?
Today I think we're chilling a little bit. I don't know. I had my brother-in-law's dog for a few days. That was kind of fun.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah. That dog,
Nice.
that dog is really nice.
I've actually got. It was supposed to rain. I got sun happening right here, more so than overcast. We got an outdoor gig in a few hours. The drums are already in the car, ready to roll. excited about that.
On your job, did they send you the appointments? Did they set the appointments for you? Or do you have to do it yourself? You have to go knock on the doors.
Yeah, so the sales appointments I run are set up for me, and it's an app on my phone. So it's really cool. We have an appointment center. Customers are calling us, then they set them up with me, and so I just have to check my app. I call to confirm. I had an appointment Thursday morning this week right here in Worcester, and when I got there, the husband was home, but the wife wasn't, who set the appointment up. So I did everything I needed to do in terms of pictures and measurements to prepare what I needed for the proposal, and said, why don't I come back and I'll show you what our solutions are going to be. And he's like, well, we're going to catch both of us. Wonderful young couple. I say young, they have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I can remember having kids that age, and you're just going 100 miles an hour. And so I said, how about Saturday morning? He goes, 8 o'clock. I go, I'll be here. And he goes, we got to be gone by 9. I go, no problem. And so I get to this little kitchen, and it's 100 miles an hour. And 52 minutes later, she's leaving with the daughter, he's leaving with the son. They're going in different directions, and I got the whole thing proposed and closed, and they went with it. So I had a nice sale this morning, and be able to help this wonderful couple out with something in their house that's been driving them crazy for a long time. We can solve that problem, and that's why I was on my way back home thinking I'll be good for 9:15. Turned out to be 9:15, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
That's cool. So you remember I told you that the sign here was getting like faded in the podcast.
Looks great now.
Yeah, I figured out what to do. See, I'm not as dumb as I look, But who could be? I mean, who could be, right?
I'm going to see if we can videotape. I'm going to videotape this afternoon us doing Fast Car. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like you to hear it. I'd like you to hear our version. And
do you guys?
Yeah, we're having some fun.
Do you guys have videos of still face that you put on YouTube or something? Or no?
Yeah, if you search Nate Ramos music on YouTube, or his music's all over Spotify. That's all of him acoustic by himself, and we're building a band around that. But I'll just videotape on my phone us doing Fast Cars so you can hear it. I'll send it to you later.
Still face. Do you guys have videos of still face on YouTube?
We got a Facebook page. So our website is stillfaceband.com, which is our Facebook page. Our music link, we just got a gig for a place here in Worcester coming up, because I sent them our music link, which was stillfacemusic.bandcamp.com. And we got our 6-song EP up there, but that's just audio. But there's a restaurant here in town. It's a barbecue restaurant in Worcester, a new one. Kind of cool. Like, they're serving beer on tap, but only from Worcester breweries, which is cool. The barbecue they're getting great response, but they're really supporting live music. They got a stage in the dining room. They do live music on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday afternoons. So they're really supporting the local music scene. And we just got a slot in there because they heard that. So,
so the sign looks better, but I got to see if there's something I can do to get this not like that. Is that good?
Well, that's no good. Now I can't see you or the sign.
Huh?
Now I can see you.
Just testing it.
Just testing. All right, buddy. Well, why don't we wrap this up before Zoom wraps it up on us? What is this number? I don't know, 1,417. How many podcasts are we at now?
This is 64.
64. When I'm 64. Will you still need me?
I don't know, but here's what happens. Now, when we get to 66, that's my age. We have to decide if we even want to continue or not. I don't know. It's like,
I understand. I do.
Yeah, I know you do. But think about that. Talk to Jenna, see if she wants to do a thing about the book and doing a.
We can either start a virtual book club or have a podcast on this whole idea.
Yeah, I mean, you could do your own podcast with her, or you can even bring her into this podcast. It could be.
I had another idea for a separate podcast altogether. I'm just trying to, line myself up in case I get squeezed out of this one by your old partner who's trying to work his way back in.
No, he's when he first did it, he didn't do anything. I didn't know anything about it, but I'm the one that figured out how to do everything, and I did it. And now he wants to do it again, but he wants me to do it all. I says, well, what are you gonna do? I says, I says,
you got to do as much work as the other guy. It's not all you.
I said, when I started with you, I didn't have anything. I never knew what a podcast how it would happen, but I figured out how to do it. And I'm the one that bought the equipment and this and that, and I'm the one that did everything. You never did anything. All you did was complain. So there. Now you want me to do it again? Show me that you want to take some action on your own.
There you go, making me laugh again. Now I'm coughing.
Huh.
Too funny. Too funny.
Yeah.
Well, listen, have a great day. I look forward to the next two. We'll get to 66 and we'll see what we're going to do.
So are you going to go to the Turkey Jam?
Yeah, that's a must. It was Lynn's favorite concert last year. So
Yeah.
this is the Friday night of Thanksgiving weekend. I'm not sure what that date is, 26.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Hudson, Portuguese Club, the Betancourt brothers. Phenomenal.
It's always awesome. I know. It's crazy.
Oh, my God. But last year it seemed to be more produced is not the right word, and organized is not the right word either. But it was just the greatest cover band anyone's ever seen.
Well, and actually, it was totally different than what they normally do, because what they used to do was all the Betancourt people over the years played in different bands,
Right.
and then what they would do is they bring that band that is no longer together, but they'd bring it to the thing, and then they do a few songs with that band,
Right.
and then they bring another band that they used to play with, that one of the other brothers used to play with or whatever. So
In years past, that's what it was. It was kind of a hodgepodge on stage. I saw 3/4 of Extreme because Gary wasn't there, but Pat was, and Kevin's on drums. And I saw Flesh. It was just a constant mix of what was going up and off stage, which was fun. But last year it was like we got 5 Betancourts across the front, and they had a whole gigantic set list of cover tunes that were amazing. They were all over the book on stuff they played. And then they brought the whole horn brass section in from the Azores. It was amazing.
Yeah,
so we're definitely going.
You don't remember what song George sang that you said you liked so much? You remember what the song was?
I have it in my phone still. I'll check it and let you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can call him and ask him, but
I forget that one. Paulo sang, well, he sang a lot, but I think he was he was the lead on that Bread song. I would give everything I own, Bread. Oh,
so
you should
I'll
hear him
call
on that. It
today
was
and say,
amazing.
hey, my friend, my podcast buddy, has been bragging about you with your voice. So what's going on? Are you taking lessons or something? You never were so good before.
You can tell it to George?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel bad saying I was surprised because obviously Nuno can sing and Paulo can sing. We knew because I got that album, but man, I wasn't ready for George to sing that beautifully. It was amazing.
So talking about singing and stuff, I pulled up Extreme on YouTube. There's two new videos there.
Yeah, so it's funny you said I was going to reserve it because I haven't seen it, but Hurricane, which is a beautiful song.
But Nuno
and
is the one that starts singing on that, wasn't it?
I haven't seen the video yet. It came out, and it was all day yesterday. I meant to watch it. Lynn, I get home and Lynn's like telling me about it. I go, I know, I heard, and she goes, I watched it. I said it's supposed to be pretty like emotional because I saw Nuno on Instagram talking about the meaning of it and his mom and people leaving our lives and passing away. And I said, I hear it's pretty emotional. Lynn starts to cry again, telling me about the video. And I'm like, wow.
He actually